Hello and welcome to another random Wi-Fi battle. I'm just going to jump right into the match because I really don't have anything interesting to say. So let's get on with it. They started with a Rotom, I started with a Hypno. First time I've actually used a Hypno in random Wi-Fi. Um, in the past I used to use it a lot because it used to be very useful as a special wall. Not to mention it could learn Baton Pass and XD, and it was actually very useful. So Rotom tricks me a Choice Scarf and I give him Choice Specs. I'm actually going to switch a Roo and get my Choice Specs back and give him back his Choice Scarf. Now, the option here was to disable his technique, but he ends up going for Volt Switch. Should have actually seen that coming since Rotom is very well known for doing that. But I ended up going for Disable this turn. He ends up going into Slowbro. Because this Slowbro didn't make a move, Disable will not work. Here, I believe I went for the Switcheroo again. I do not remember that too well. No, I don't think so. I think I went for Disable. Oh no, I switched out. I went into Dragonite. Why the hell did I go into Dragonite? I do not know, because now that I realize it, that's actually a pretty bad switch in. But here, I do not want to keep my Dragonite in, because I know that either the Trick or the Will-O-Wisp is coming. Even with a Choice Scarf, Will-O-Wisp is an option here. He ends up tricking my Hypno and giving me back the Choice Scarf while he once again steals my Choice Specs. And I believe this turn I go for Switcheroo once again. Yes, I do. I go for Switcheroo while he ends up going for Trick again, stealing my Choice Specs once again. I do not want that thing having my Choice Specs because with Choice Specs, that thing could actually be trouble. This turn, he goes for a Thunderbolt, and I go for the disabling his trick, preventing him from tricking again. But as you can see, Thunderbolt does a massive amount of damage, and because I am locked in to disable, I cannot keep Hypno in there. So I have to go into Dragonite because I know Dragonite can take Thunderbolt pretty well. So he fires off Thunderbolt, does only about 6 to Dragonite. Here I'm going to go for the Dragon Dance. I'm not worried about this Rotom because it has to switch out because of the Choice Specs. And he's going to go back into... No, he goes into Venusaur. I thought he was going back into Slowbro. But it gives me the chance to Dragon Dance up. And I believe this turn I'm going to go for the Thunder Wave, because I want to slow that thing down just in case Dragonite does end up falling. But he ends up switching back into Rotom, most likely predicting my Thunder Wave. That or he was just doing the switch to reset his Choice Specs and go for the Will-O-Wisp. So since Thunder Wave didn't affect it, I have to attack this thing right away. Luckily, an Outrage is strong enough to take it out in one shot, so that is no longer a worry, especially since Will-O-Wisp would have definitely crippled me. So now he goes back into the Slowbro. I was definitely looking at Mega Evolution here, but I'm locked into Outrage, nothing I can do. I get a second turn, get confused, but of course Lumberry snaps me out of it. He goes for the Scald. I'm surprised that thing did not have Ice Beam, because most of the time I see Slowbros, I do see Ice Beam on them. So I don't know what kind of set he could be running here. I know Slack Off is definitely on that thing if it's Eviolite, or it could still be Mega Evolution and he's chosen not to use it yet, but looking at the damage, most likely Eviolite. Goes into Venusaur. I did not know how much my Outrage would do with a burn, but it actually does a ton of damage to that Venusaur, even burned. So even with Mega Evolution, that thing is not safe from Dragonite's Outrage. Outrage is going to definitely take him out. He chooses to Mega Evolution this turn, will not survive the Outrage. Venusaur goes down before it even gets to realize its true potential out there. I get confused, of course, and the burn is just eating away at me. I'm not going to survive much longer, so I'm just going to keep outraging at this point and see what happens to Dragonite. With confusion, toppled with a burn, this thing has 1 to 2 turns at most, if it's lucky. Luckily, I get past the confusion here, and I get an outrage off. Takes the outrage very well this turn, and he decides to slack off in my face, just rubbing his nuts all over Dragonite, because he knows Dragonite cannot do anything pretty much at this point. And of course I know that too, but there's no point in switching it out. I could extreme speed, but there would be no point in that. Plus I'm locked into outrage. So as you can see, this thing is not doing much damage at all. Don't mind me walking through there. Slowbro goes for a Calm Mind. Why? I don't have a clue. And pretty much Dragonite is gone. So I have Sceptile coming out next. We all know that Sceptile can take this thing out with a Leaf Storm, because even with Eviolite, it still has pretty poor special defense, especially after Sceptile Mega evolves. The only thing I have to worry about is if it misses. If it does, it's gonna really suck. Though I've only seen Scald on this thing. But Leaf Storm manages to hit, Slowbro cannot take it, and he goes down for the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you for my next random Wi-Fi battle.